Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 963 for the 13th of October. Frontline Changes report, of course, has been published on the main channel, so do check it out. And I also publish some news on the news channel, and also check out the DPA open mic that happened around the day before. So we're gonna start off with the Kursk fronts first, because there's more happening over there. So the strategic situation is largely similar, except that there seems to be a lot more actions over in the northern flank. So Russian forces are clashing with the Ukrainians over at Novi Put. The Russians are attacking Darivka, Lyubimovka, Tostilok, as well as, well, what's this place called? Forgot. Zeleny Sheikh. They're attacking also Lyubimovka, Novo Ivanovka. And then there is also seemingly reports, because the Ukrainian mapping have added stupid amount of gray zones, because they refuse to acknowledge that they have lost those grounds, and they put everything as gray zone. So there is a lot of advances. There's fighting reported seemingly at Agovka, Kremyanoe, east of Kremyanoe. There's also Russian reports of fighting over at Malaya Loknia. And then there's also Russian attack over at Blakovo. So Ukrainians are counter-attacking over at Zeleny Sheikh, Tostilok, Porovsky, and what is this? I forgot this place called. Zeleny Clean. Zeny Clean. So not clean at all. So what did I place? Nizhny Clean. Freaking hell. So whatever it is, it's not clean at all. So there's a strategic situation. We need to zoom in because a lot of things has happened. So let's zooming in. So there is shelling reported over at Katerinivka. Is this correct? No, is it there's another Katerina? No. Okay, never mind. So there's shelling reported at Katerinivka, and there's also fighting reported at Novi Put. The clashes continues. There's no change regarding the situation around in this Kroshkovo sector. Largely, it's the same thing. Over in the western flank, so ignoring Kremyanoe and above, so the Russian forces have not closed this pincer yet. There is clashes reported over in Zeleny Sheikh, and the Ukrainians are trying to push back around there. The Ukrainians are also counter-attacking over at Tostilok, where the Russians are pushing, and the Russians are attacking at Lyubimovka. The Ukrainians are also allegedly attacking Porovsky, as well as Nizhny Klin. The Russians are attacking Darino. So the Ukrainians clearly, you can see from this picture, this number of blue arrows, they are really trying to push back as much as they can in this very direction. So the Russians are also attacking Novo Ivanovka. So this is the current situation. Ukrainian mapping added a lot of gray zone, and there is a high chance that the gray zones are actually Russian captures, and this includes something like this. A huge chunk of the northern part of Novo Ivanovka is gone. So that's one big concern. And then in the northern flank, the Russians seems to be pushing over at Agovka, Kremyanoe, south of Kalinov, as well as Malaya Loknia. And in particular, the Ukrainians have disclaimed this area north of Petrino. So according to the Ukrainian mapping, this up to this area is all firm Russian control, which means that the Russians have advanced and taken this area here. So this is the current situation around here. I want to pull in the Deep State US mapping, and to show you what they are showing. So you can see that there's no names of all these locations. They deliberately make it very difficult. But this is Lyubimovka, and you can see this is the northern part I mentioned that the Russians seems to have taken around this area here. And if you move further up north, and which is here. So this is Kremyanoe. You can see this tentacle coming out from this area, and that's basically this area here. This is the tentacle, and you can see that in this area the Russians also seems to have made some advance, and they have seemingly taken a huge chunk of Kremyanoe, and this is also a possible pincer. And the Ukrainians seems to have firm control around this salient around Okivsky, Ogovska, sorry, Ogovka. So it's Russian in Ogovka. So there is some kind of a pressure that is building up around this area as the Russians are pushing. So this pincer is going to happen, and this looks like a very sad tortoise head. So and you can see this is something like, you know, what we are seeing over here. So the our mapping is definitely not the most accurate at this moment, because the Ukrainians just put everything as gray zone. As I said, no, I don't really like gray zones, because this is an excuse to just ignore Russian captures. So they think that the Russians are just there temporarily. So yeah, there's cope. So anyway, on the eastern flank, Ukrainian forces geolocated in another location, north of Martinovka, and this actually invalidates Russian claims, or rather mapping by Surya maps. So so the Ukrainians now have control over at least the entire chunk of forest, including the forest region. So this shows the Ukrainians have actually all these positions around here. Is it a capture? I don't think so. I think the Ukrainians are already here for a long time. Just that, you know, the Russian claims is just inaccurate. So anyway, this is what it is. As you can see previously, we have already mapped it like this. Just that, no, it's probably more, no, which makes more sense actually. So that's all for this eastern flank. On the southern flank, we only have the reports of fighting at Blakovo. There's nothing else around here. So we move to the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, the Russians are attacking in multiple locations in Lipsy, Starysia, and there seems to be some cross-border attack over at Oklimivka, as well as this area called Chaikivka. So the one at Starysia is interesting because the Ukrainians mentioned Starysia as if there's some big battles going around there. So let's see whether this is anything, because these two incursions, or at least fire attacks, we're not sure if it's just shelling or ground offensive. It's interesting. It's something interesting. So something to take note of. So we move into the Kupiansk front. At the Kupiansk front, there is only fighting reported at Petropavlivka. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting struck by airstrikes is actually noted by geolocation. There's shelling reported at Kupiansk. That's about it. Suddenly went quiet around here. Over at the Pischany front, the fighting is now largely reported around this Pischany, Berestove, and towards Lozova region. Largely around here. Along the Oskil River ones are not being reported somehow. So let's wait and see. We move further south. Over at the Svetove front, we have fighting reported at Vishneve, Kopanki. The actual location of Ukrainian forces at Peshetrevneve. Russia's attack Dzhizilubivka as well as Kharkivka. So nothing really stand out for me around here. And we move further south. Over in the Crimea front, we have fighting reported at Novosadove, Terny, Kursk, as well as Dibrova. There's some frontline changes over in the east of Terny, where there is Russian forces geolocated in the small tree line, so causing some frontline change around here, but not something that is very significant if you ask me. So it's just a straightening of the front line. So that's all from that area. Over at the Sivers front, there's only fighting reported at Kharkivka. And that's about it. There's a geolocation of artillery strike on Ukrainian mortar position, just off Sivers, northeast of Sivers. But yeah, went very quiet. All these claims by DivGen, no, still not corroborated. So let's move on. Over the northern flank of Bakhmut, a lot of actions seemingly around in the northern flank. Fighting is reported at Zeleniansky, Orikhovo, Vasilivka, Makrove, Kharkivka, Kalinina, south of Kalinina, Chasivya, southeast of Chasivya, and the west of Ivaniski. As you can see, a lot of things happening around here, so we need to zoom in and take a look. So over at the Kharkivka region, Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, actually mapped some updates showing that the Russians have indeed captured part of the forest in the southwest of Kharkivka, and fully capturing the entrenchment that is defending Kharkivka. And this also corroborated some of the Russian mapping in this area here. So there's some update around here. so on there is some expansion of the control. So the Ukrainian mapping is updating the Bakhmut front, so so we have a bit more around here. So some forest, but this is like not very accurate because it's the forest. Nobody knows exactly where the front line is actually in the forest. So yeah, there's Kalinina. Further south there is west of Ivaniske and southeast of Chasivya. Russian forces have taken the entire junction along the highway, and this was proven. This is also corroborated with geolocation of Russian forces. So the Ukrainians have mapped it this way. So this is interesting. This is a very strategic position for the Russians to take. A lot of heavy entrenchment around here, but this is not a secure position because of the forest. There is a heavy entrenchment around here, more forest. So this is just not a very good position per se. But the Russians, having it does control the junction. The Russians can actually expand further out. So what they're gonna do, I do not know. Geolocation of airstrike in just south of Chasivya, not very important per se. And in the southern flank of the Bakhmut front, there's fighting reported at Stuposhki and Dilievka. But that's about it. We move into the New York front. At the New York front, there is fighting only reported at Torex, Skibanevka, as well as towards Sukabalka. But there's no detailed report, so that's all we know of in this area here. And we move into the northern flank. There's nothing over the northern flank of the Pokrov front. Over in the Novohorodivka sector of the Pokrov front, Russian forces attacking Promin, Minokhrad, Sukiya, as well as Lisivka. So pretty clear the two main arrows that the Russians are pushing for. One for Pokrov, one for Minokhrad. So let's see how this progress. Over in the Selidove region, Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Mikhailivka. So this comes after the months of delay. So the first claim of capture was on the 28th of August. The Russians took not almost 2 months to declare that. Russian forces continue to attack in the region of Mikhailivka and Selidove. Exact location of fighting is not so clear, maybe mostly in the eastern flank of this front line. And there is a geolocation of a missile strike on Ukrainian position. Yeah, but that's about it, not important. Over in the Khernik region, Russian forces are fighting at Sukurine, Kremina Balka, Novoselidivka, Izmailikivka, Khernik, Zeleny Druhi, Zaryane, and Kurakivka. The claim by DivGen is still not corroborated. So as you can see, his mapping is uncorroboratable. So cope. But Khernik region you can see is very active. So this is definitely a front line to look at. Sukurine, there is the new developments. Geolocation of Russian forces confirming the Russians have actually taken most of Sukurine right now. So we are looking at the end stage of Sukurine very soon. There's not much of Sukurine left. So the Ukrainians are holding the lines around this area here. So let's continue to wait and see how this goes. We move further south to the Kurakove sector. This Kurakove, and the Russians are attacking towards Kurakove right now, and Masymelenivka and towards Kurakivka as mentioned earlier. So that's very simple around here. The Russians don't have a lot of directions to move in, so that's all. We move further south into the Vodiane Konstantinivka region. The Russians are attacking at Konstantinivka, Katerinivka, towards Yelizativka, towards Bohovkivlenka, and there is a major front line change north of Voleda. And this is mapped by the Ukrainian mapping, so this is confirmed. The Russians have expanded control in the north of Voleda. They are now continue to secure Voleda even more. Voleda is now forever gone. It's going to be renamed as Aglida. No, it's Ugleda in Russian. So anyway, that's how it's going to be for now. I don't think the Ukrainians can ever capture it back, unfortunately. We move into the Zolita Neva region. There is fighting reported at Zolita Neva with the Ukrainian mapping expanded the Russian control a little bit in this area here. They still have not acknowledged the capture of Zolita Neva, and this entire region around the river is now fully corroborated. corroborating the Russian mapping. It's basically the same as the Russian mapping. So that's all from Zolita Neva. The first announcement of capture, the Russian Defense Ministry announcement of capture was 8th of October. We still do not have the corroboration from the Ukrainian side just yet. We move into the Velika Novosilka sector. The Russian reports claim they have captured Levadne. So fighting is still reported around the region, and there is also fighting reported towards Novodarivka, according to Ryba, the pro-Russian source. So that's about it. I got a feeling we're not going to see much more from this area here. I think this is just a small thing. Over in the Zaporizhia front, at the Zaporizhia front, this is the Zaporizhia front. Russian forces are attacking in multiple locations. I'm trying to see whether I can fit it in. I can't. So anyway, other than Levadne, nearby, the Russians are attacking Melenivka. So they are attacking Melenivka. This is the Hoyapole sector. So something happened here, but not much. I don't think it's something very serious. So over at the Orekhiv sector, this is Orekhiv. Russians are attacking at Malatomashka, Robotine, as well as Novoandrievka. So again, doesn't feel like a major offensive. No, so the Russians are just slowly grinding away the Ukrainian defense in these areas. And then over in the Kayamsky sector, there is fighting reported at Kayamsky, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. So that's it from the Zaporizhia front. And in the Kherson front, there is fighting reported in the Pridniprovsky direction. As usual, it's only reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Shelling is reported at Pridniprovsky, Mikulsky, Tokarivka, as well as Shiliakove. So this is the field reports reported by the Russian Defense Ministry, but nothing much. So that's it. So this is the situation report for the 13th of October for the day of 963. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and check out this video. Zelensky claimed that North Korea troops is now in Ukraine war. And I'll see you guys in the next update.